Let's continue. We want to add a bit more on our arrays. So I'll put a 2-in-1 program where I will put the following. Last time we spoke about arrays, we just had an integer array, but we can still be able to create an array of characters whereby it can be words, right? Words becomes our array of choice, and then we also need a pointer that we'll call str. str then gets our values. So from there we want our words to be having 80 characters. We want to get a space, which will be an integer, and then we want to print f. Our printf will get the following: enter a string. Our gets our s, and then our str will be equal to our s, which is our string that would have entered. Sorry. It's actually supposed to be words. And then our words is what we use to work with the rest of our code. So we need a for statement that checks for the following. So the first thing is space is equal to 0. We check for our str, and then our str increments. Then we have an if statement that's supposed to check for our str is not equal to space, or rather just 2 quotation marks. From there we continue, and then we increment space, right? And then outside of all of this we then put a printf. Our printf gets the number of spaces, and then our space. Okay, if we run it, we're supposed to get the following. So we're supposed to enter a string, so anything that we think of. There is a party around a corner. So what it simply does is just counts the number of spaces that we've got in our string. So this is pretty much the code. I'll explain a bit of it, where we are saying words becomes the number of characters that we want to enter, and this is what we get there under words. So gets input, from keyboard. And then points to the input characters. Then counts character and spaces. This then gives us what we could have done. So this is the first example of our array program. We can also create another simplified version of our array program, whereby we can simply see, like we did with the other one of the integers. So let's do a simplified array program before we end our lesson. So simplified arrays. Okay, so in this particular case, we want to work with our code as follows. We want to have an int a in brackets 5. We'll do it like we did the last one, and we also want to have a character b in brackets 5 as well, right? So we can do exactly the same for both, although our content should be slightly different. For our numbers, we simply put 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's for our numbers. For our characters, we need to put the single quotes, comma, the single quotes, comma, the single quotes, comma, single quotes. I think they should be equal to 5, whereby we put our characters as we see fit, and at the same time we can also be able to view these characters. So for example, a printf can give us both of our characters, or rather both of our, not characters, but our values. So a in brackets 0 and b in brackets 0, which then means we can put percentage d and percentage c, like that, whereby we can run. I think okay, I messed up the brackets, like that. So if I run it, we'll then be able to see 2 and q, which is pretty much what we've got. So that is our arrays. But maybe an easier way of actually doing it would be, I'll just put a few notes. I know notes are not the most interesting, but let's have a few notes, and we'll explain how each of some of these things work. So for example, an array, we said it's a variable that contains more than one address. Okay, so simply put, we have a data type, variable name plus a variable name plus a size, right? So we're then saying it also contains addresses, right? So addresses are the locations where our variables will be stored. At the same time, each address can be referenced, and all addresses start from 0 to the end of the size value, subtract 1. So in essence, we are saying if our array is A in brackets 5, this means our addresses are from 0 to 4, like that. Thank you so much for this lesson. I've just tried to summarize some of the things that we have learned. Please give me feedback on how I've done certain things, and if there's any help that you need, you can actually be able to contact me via YouTube. I'm still yet to set up certain platforms that you can communicate with me if you've got any questions. Thank you so much for